Hey, it's Dean Legge. Welcome to Dog Post, where we're trying to make you a smarter Georgia fan. Some breaking news today. Ladd McConkey picking Georgia over Tennessee and some other smaller schools. And this is probably the last commitment for Georgia in the 2020 cycle. Maybe they sneak another one in there. I don't know. So they've got the number one class in the country right now. And with McConkey, what are you looking at? Well, when you look at the film and see what he's got going on, he doesn't look so far from the way that Bakari Rambo did playing quarterback. And I don't know when that popped into my head, but I do remember the way that Bakari was, and he was clearly the best athlete on the field and could get away from guys and was just really crafty. This guy's the same way when he plays quarterback. But he's going to play slot at Georgia. So slot is a really important position. The most recent player who really did it well was at Clemson. Now his name is escaping me off the top of my head, but Hunter Renfrow, who was drafted by the Raiders. So Hunter Renfrow at Clemson made the slot a spot that was something hard to deal with, hard to cover. And with the guys Georgia has on the outsides now, whether you're talking about Blaylock, who plays a little bit inside as well, or George Pickens specifically, your secondary is going to be concerned about George Pickens. I mean, they should be. And now if you add a true slot guy, a guy who has wiggle and who can just pick up a couple of, catches that are difficult for the receiver, the defender to deal with him on, then you've got a real problem for the secondary and to some degree just the entire defense. I don't know that McCorkle's going to be a guy that immediately comes in and make an impact, but slot guys are valuable, and there's not a lot of true slot guys. Another guy that was a slot guy in Georgia's past was Mikey Henderson. He was a very good slot guy. He was used as a slot guy correctly in 2006 and 7, and by 7, he became tough to deal with. This guy doesn't have he's not a big guy. He could probably add some weight. All these guys can add weight. Going from 17 to 20 years old, you can add good weight. But for Georgia to identify, hey, we don't have a lot of slot, guys. I mean, James Cook plays there some. James Cook is just a straight up gadget guy. He can play running back. He can flex him out and get him against a linebacker. A slot guy is a real specific guy. And the other thing that he's going to be doing for Georgia is returning kicks. If you watch him returning kicks, and I guess punts too, but if you watch him returning kicks, he makes a lot. He makes a lot of plays. Period. This is a 3-star guy from Northwest Georgia. He's not going against very good competition up there. Calhoun maybe is probably the best team that they would play, who's a traditional power. But this is not a group that, where he's from, that's not really a football mecca. He's not in a metro area, so he's pretty raw. But the athleticism, I mean, this guy is as athletic as, he's pretty athletic. And guys who can wiggle like that, make one-handed catches, but really is what he did at quarterback that makes you pay attention, because he made a lot of guys look stupid. And in high school you can do that, but to consistently do it, to run right up to someone who's about to tackle you and to avoid that can carry over in the college game. But the challenge from McCorkle's going to be moving forward, is becoming a polished, guy in the slot. And if he can do that quickly, he'll play quickly. All bets are off coming into this 2020 season for Georgia. I think on the offensive line, you've got some guys that are going to come back and play. And George Pickens is going to be a big deal. But who will the tight ends be? Who will be opposite of George at receiver? Who will the starting running back be? Will it be Zamir? Will it be, someone else? Will it be Kenny McIntosh? Could it be, Kendall Milton? So there are possibilities out there, but with this new commitment today, Georgia really, they're doing a couple of different things, and if you're a Georgia fan, you shouldn't be surprised. Number one, they're going to use every scholarship they've got. They They are running on top of the scholarship limit in terms of the number, the 85 number, which is the only thing I pay attention to. They're past that now, which means guys who are on scholarship now will not be on scholarship in the fall, one way or the other, whether it's attrition for academics, or they don't want to play at Georgia anymore, or it's an injury, or the transfer portal, whatever. They're not going to be there. Secondly, again, this guy is a specific slot guy. He'll play. He's a receiver. All slots are receivers, but not all receivers are slots. So it's a little bit like whiskey and bourbon. So if you think of it that way, that's probably a good way to think of it. And then finally, there is no shortage of recruiting that is ever. I mean, Kirby is always about filling every single spot at Georgia. He's about, figuring it all out. I scream compete because it's just a catchphrase that makes me laugh. But he's going to make all these guys compete. Every single one of these guys are going to have to fight their way onto the field. There's going to be no easy way to do it. And even for a guy like James Cook, does a true slot guy take away snaps? Well, not if you're a beast. So that's really all this was today, was addressing an issue. Isaiah McKenzie was I would say a very good slot guy for Georgia. He just played on teams that weren't that great. So that's but he's a small, tiny guy. This guy's not tiny. And you can see a true slot guy can really play for a while in the NFL if they get there. Right now, Georgia's just trying to develop to go out and recruit and develop a true slot guy. So that's what happened today at Georgia. Make sure to click and subscribe. I'm going to leave another video that we had earlier this week about a running back from South Georgia committing to Georgia. That broke on Wednesday. We'll see what happens with Broderick Jones. Make sure to click subscribe. Watch the next video. Thanks for watching.